Hey everybody, Chris, the North Airgunner. So today we are going to be unveiling this. This right here is the FX King, but you'll notice it looks a little bit different than the last time you saw it here on my channel. And what this is the Saber Tactical Chassis for the FX King and the FX Dynamic with a couple different modifications you'll have to make with the safety to get it to fit. But the FX King absolutely straight drop in for this chassis, and it is absolutely awesome. So you'll notice that I've taken it out of the GRS stock, and I want to tell you a little story about how that whole process happened, the fact that I even decided to take a bit of a risk this year and run the FX King as my 100-yard Benchrest competition rig. So this all started back, a couple years ago. I was hanging out with Oscar down in Georgia. We were deer hunting, and he was telling me about some projects that he was working on with FX as he was coming out with the new GRS stock for the FX King, which I didn't even know that's what it was called at the time. But I was telling Oscar, I was like, man, I absolutely love your GRS, and I'm wondering if could I actually compete with that thing? It's a dedicated hunting rig, but just the ergonomics on that King and that GRS stock were just absolutely awesome. It just really isn't set up for any kind of bipod attachments or any kind of ways to really put a lot of weight on the front, which you really need for Benchrest. So I made an agreement with Oscar, and I said, hey, I'm going to run it at the Northeast Airguns Classic. We're just going to run it bone stock, and let's see what it's going to do. And I made the finals. I also wanted to point out real quick that 11 out of the 15 finalists were Team Utah Airguns, so we showed up and we represented. Now, trying to get the FX King or an FX Dynamic ready for a Benchrest setup, I'm not the only one that's doing this. So when you look at Bill, who actually won the Northeast Airguns Classic, was running a Panthera. So the FX Dynamic variants can shoot Benchrest, but there's a little bit of setup I'm going to be doing with this FX King inside the Saber Tactical Chassis just to get it to that next level. So with the GRS stock, it was absolutely amazing. I used the Saber Tactical bottle clamp up front here, so I was able to at least run some kind of bipod on that. You know, it's great for shooting out the bench if you're just planking in the backyard, maybe just getting into, maybe just trying to sight in your rifle and get a good zero for hunting. That bottle clamp is absolutely perfect from Saber Tactical, but, I really wanted to be able to get some weight up front. And then just also the rigidity in this chassis really goes through all the different features. But before I go into this, here's thanks for Oscar that doing that GRS challenge for the Northeast Airguns Classic. I shot a 225, which I think was the fourth highest score on the card one. Second card, I got caught up in the wind a little bit. I think I shot like a 217. Came back with a 221 in the finals, and I got sixth. So it's actually my best finish so far. And I'm still learning a lot. But as I was coming back home, I really wanted to stop and do a little bit of turkey hunting with the FX King. And man, that brown stock, it's just absolutely love that thing. So the King, it just shines as a hunting platform. I carried that thing around all day in the woods. Absolutely just love it for a hunting rig. So I'm going to be holding on to a GRS stock whenever I want to convert this back into a hunting rig. But when I saw this new chassis, when it came from Saber Tactical, I just knew right away. I knew right away that I was going to drop this into this chassis, and there's a lot of different features of why I want to do that. So I think the best way to cover this is just kind of from the rear to the front. We're going to talk about all the different ways why I think this is a preferred platform for a Benchrest setup. So normally when you think about chassis, you think about having them for a positional shooting setup for like a NRL 22 PRS precision rifle shooting, and you can definitely use that for this. And so what's great about it is all the adjustability and the ability to add extra weight up here up front. It gives you the ability to find that center of gravity on your rig. And right now it's pretty darn close, but I'm going to be actually changing a lot of things up to give it even more weight for a Benchrest setup, because I really want to get this gun at least 17 pounds. I might be able to get it up to 20, and we'll talk a little bit about how I'm going to accomplish that. But from the rear to the front, let's talk about all the features of why I am going to be running this as a Benchrest rig. So when I first saw this Buttstock, when they first released it, I really was just blown away just from the video clips I was seeing of this thing. The adjustability, just the look of it was really cool. but when I got it, it just blew me away. I mean, Saber Tactical has been making fantastic accessories, different chassis for different air guns. But guys, this one, they have raised the bar. I mean, absolutely raised the bar on the fit, the finish, the quality, the adjustability on these things. So here in the rear, the first thing I want to show you is the ability to move the rear butt pad up and down. And then the little click detent thing that they've got here, it's just completely positive clicking. And once it clicks into place, there's absolutely no play at all in this. The other thing I love about this is that it's got a really flat area here. I have been shooting the monopods from Saber Tactical, and then I also been shooting with just regular shooting bags, like a Game Changer or another rear shooting bag, traditional style. And I keep going back and forth, and those Saber Tactical rear monopods are absolutely awesome. For me, the organicness of being able to kind of move things around a little bit, not in so much an XY axis like a monopod does. I like having that organic ability to maneuver the rear on a bag. So I will say, though, I was practicing with the new Pro monopod, and I am going to be testing that out here pretty soon, because that new Pro monopod, just the size of the dials they have on that thing, I found myself as I was practicing with it over at Northeast Airguns, it's almost like you're using a shooting bag. It's the ability to move it up and down, left and right is just a lot more fluid. So I may be switching over to that. So stay tuned on that. But this flat spot right here is great for a shooting bag. It just rests perfectly natural. And when you look at traditional Benchrest rigs, you'll notice having that flat rear area versus a angled buttstock. That allows your gun just to sit extremely stable into the bag. And it doesn't even really need a bag rider. So when I'm using this for the Game Changer, it doesn't even need a bag rider. I might put some type of bag rider foot just to have it stick out a little bit here, because it's got two holes on the bottom where you can either direct fit or maybe put some Picatinny railing to get one to fit there. But that rear flat spot is absolutely perfect for a bag. Okay. The best part of this buttstock are these little, I guess we call them throw levers here. They are positive clicking throw levers, and the cam mechanism that they have in here is so flippin' solid. I mean, just look at this. I'm like, once this clicks in there, it is absolutely, I mean, there's zero play in this. Zero. And whenever I come back here to this, no play at all. So you just lock that in, and it's not going anywhere. So if you want to move it, you just basically undo those things and just look at that. It's like milky smooth. I mean, the tolerance that they put on these posts, I still don't understand how they were able to get the tolerance so close and just have it be so tight. And then watch, you let it go and it goes down. I mean, just the machining and fabrication quality that they put in this thing is just second to none. All right, so moving forward here, this is attached with a castle nut. Definitely check out PJ's video, full installation video of the great videos that Saber Tactical and PJ put together for these. He walks you through the whole installation process. The way that attaches is super tight, completely locked in there. So moving ahead, we have got our spirit level here. Yeah, so for Benchrest, I know like you get locked into position, and really there should be a lot of use for this. But you'd be surprised. There's been times where I move from bench to bench for like card 1, card 2, and into the finals. Just getting everything set up, you might see a little bit of difference. So just getting your bubble level perfectly, just, everything's centered, everything's completely set up exactly how you zeroed it. Always making sure when you're zeroing your gun, you're also making sure that spirit level bubble's right there in the middle. So great feature there. So before I go forward anymore, the one biggest thing I forgot to call out on this is just the bronze color of this chassis is absolutely amazing. The contrast between the black of the FX black and the bronze, I mean, it's just, I absolutely love the bronze on this thing. Matches my wheels on my Tacoma too, which is, so that's an easy 2 to 3 extra points. All right, so moving forward, we have an AR style grip. So right now I've got the ergo grip. I've got the vertical ergo here. I love this. I just love the bigger feeling of the hand swell. But I also love the Saber Tactical vertical grip that Saber Tactical has. It has the thumb shelf. I will probably be moving to that because I really love having that thumb shelf. And with Benchrest, I mean, every single shot has got to be the exact same every single time. And I ran into a little bit of an issue at the Northeast Airguns Classic, completely on me. I got going a little too fast, and it has nothing to do with the gun at all or the stock. It's just really me. I completely just got going too fast, and I had an accidental discharge. And so what was happening was, as I was cycling back and forth, my ring finger got caught in the trigger well as I was moving back onto the grip position on the GRS stock, and I just caught the trigger, sent a pellet, and luckily I looked left. I had Keith Gibson in the finals to my left, and there was no extra shots on his page, and I had Todd to my right, no extra shots on Todd's card. And I looked up, and sure enough, I dropped a 6 right on my card. So at least I got 6 points, but I've never accidental discharged in practice ever. And just getting your finger caught into that trigger card, you got to remember to not only slow it down sometimes, but to bring your hand back to the exact same position every single time. And it was really cool. MDT put out a video here recently, and I thought it was just me who had made this stupid mistake. But MDT actually put out a really good video just with rimfire or centerfire bolt throws, just basically the action of a bolt on a firearm. They were talking about that is a consideration. The way your hand comes off of the bolt and you come back to your shooting position, if you hit that trigger, you're going to basically get an accidental discharge and send that projectile downrange. And if you're not on the scope, you're not ready to pull that trigger. So you always got to make sure you keep your booger hooks off the bang button. But that little booger hook right there got the bang button, dropped a 6. So that thumb shelf on the Saber Tactical grip is something I'm going to go back to. And the reason being is that I've been practicing a lot about how I grip that cocking handle. And as I come off of it, I come back, I come away from the trigger. So obviously, keep your trigger finger out of the trigger guard until you're ready to shoot, especially some of these competition triggers. I mean, I've got this trigger set up super light right now. Bring your hand back, thumb on shelf, and then go through your process, right? I take a cleansing breath. There's a lot of different things we're not going to get into. But my process of before I pull that trigger, I don't care if it's on a sighter, I don't care if it's for score, I go through the same process every single time, and that thumb on that thumb shelf is going to be part of my process going forward. All right, so moving forward from that, we have the way it actually sits into this chassis. It uses all of the actual hardware that comes with the FX King, just right out of the box. You don't have to use anything different, so you've got basically like 2 action screws here, and then you've got another action screw there. All that comes with kit. You don't need to worry about that. And then moving forward from here, this right here is one of the coolest parts about the way they built this chassis. I'm calling this the Saber Tactical Modular chassis system. And the reason being is you got the buttstock. The buttstock can come off of the main action. And now you also have a separate section here on the front. So the front part's also modular. So you could actually get a different length ARCA M-LOK bottom rail. And the reason why you would want to do that, the reason why I'm going to be doing that, is I am going to be running a 700cc Air Marksman bottle from Utah Airguns on this thing for a couple different reasons. So this right here is the regular size, and this fits great with a 480 or a 580cc bottle. But putting that 700cc bottle, 300 bar from Utah Airguns, that's going to give me a ton more shots. And by having all of that extra length out here, that's what you want with bench. The more you can kick that bipod out to the front, it's just a more stable position versus having your bipod scooted to the back. So you really want that fulcrum point pushed out as far forward as possible. So ideally, I'm going to want to have this AccuTac bipod pushed out to probably about here when I get that 700cc rail and 700cc bottle on that. So that's going to be the next thing that I go to. All right, going to the end right here. So what I have here, and you've heard me talk about this quite a few times on my channel, is I am using the Donnie FL Yokozuna, and I know it's not part of the chassis, but it's part of the system here, is this 30 caliber Yokozuna Notice I have dropped the number of baffle stacks on this. I'm only running the 3 shorts. I took out the first big long stack. So by running this is what I did was once I got my velocity tune exactly how I wanted, I started adding and removing baffle stacks to this thing, and I just found an absolute awesome harmonic tune. Now, but what happened when I got over to New Hampshire, the environment was completely different. Temperature was different, humidity was different, barometric, everything was different. Versus when I was here in Michigan, getting all my tune ready, where there was snow on the ground, when I was tuning this thing, getting ready for Benchrest competition. So when I got there, I was able to actually remove another baffle stack to this, and I found my harmonic tune again. So I'm using this as a harmonic tuning device after I found my velocity tune on this, where the extreme spread and the standard deviation of my velocity was very, very tight. So Yokozuna, I cannot talk enough about this. You know, for competition, I do not care how loud or quiet this thing is. So even if I had to drop this down to just 1 baffle stack, yeah, it's going to probably be a bit louder than a full stack for suppression, but I don't care. I am using that solely as a tuning device. So there it is. That was a lot. It's kind of went through a lot of stuff there with you guys. If you are looking to get into positional precision shooting, if you want to take your King or your Dynamic to the next level and build up a Benchrest rig like I am, definitely check this out. So there it is, everybody. I'm getting ready for the Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge, and I am not done modifying this thing. So definitely stay tuned on Instagram and Facebook and my YouTube community group. I'm going to be dropping a little bit of the other different modular things I'm doing this. I'm going to be adding some digital gauges. I'll be trying different grips on that. We're going to be trying the difference between the Pro monopod from Saber Tactical in a bag. All of it. All the things I'm going to be doing to this. I'm going to be documenting the whole process because, look, guys, even though this is my 4th year competing professionally, I am still learning new things every single time. But I set out with a goal to take the FX King and see if it can be a finals caliber airgun, and I proved that at the Northeast Airguns Classic. Now, it was a really hard decision for me to move away from that M3 because that M3 over there, seriously, I could take that right now, take it to Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge, and I would be confident that I could be able to get back into the finals or score really well with that airgun. So if you're an FX Impact M3 user, seriously, that right there is the gun that basically set the bar. So real quick, before we wrap, I want to give a huge shout out to Bill from Team Saber Tactical because wanted to know who Bill was. Donnie said he had picked up a really awesome team shooter for the team. This guy was crazy obsessive, even more than me or than any of the other guys that he's ever met. And I'm like, all right, who's this Bill guy? And he was in my heat. I didn't even know who he was. And I shot a 225 that first card. I think Bill shot almost a 230 or something. I'm like, who's this Bill guy? So I went over and met him. And he's running an FX Panther. I'm like, geez, that's a PRS gun. What are you doing shooting bench with it? If you have not had a chance to talk to Bill, and if you're going to the Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge, make some time to sit and talk to Bill, or maybe we could even set up a table and just have Bill talk at us for a while because you're going to learn a ton. I have never met somebody who preps for just any discipline the way Bill does. And we went through all kinds of details about different liners, twist rates, things we've tried with barrels, things that we've done with our platforms, things that he's taking all these Saber Tactical accessories. So the way he's taken the Saber Tactical Panthera rail and just all of the things that he's doing, the way he preps his liners. I mean, everything he does, it is so methodical and just data driven, and the way he thinks, I just love being able to share these ideas with different shooters, different competitors. We might shoot for different teams. We might shoot for different manufacturers. It doesn't matter. When you come to these competitions like the Northeast Airguns Classic or the Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge, Pyramid Cup or EBR, what's great about it, guys, is that when you're there, you are competing against the course. Yes, you are, for score, you're competing with everybody around you of where you place. But at the end of the day, you are competing against that course of fire. I don't care if it's Benchrest, I don't care if it's PRS, big bore, field target, whatever you're doing, as long as you stay focused that it's you against that target and just tune out all the rest of the noise, as soon as I was able to learn that a couple of years ago, it doesn't matter if I shoot, a 225 or 217 or 180. It doesn't matter. I know each one of those scores are mine. And everybody has great days. Everybody has really bad days. The more you get out and shoot, the more you learn to identify what caused that good score or bad score. All these FX are capable of outshooting any one of us. I don't care how good of a shot you are. These guns, when properly tuned, will outshoot everybody, period. I will die on that hill. So the thing about these guns, though, is that you also need to know if something goes wonky in your shooting style or the weather or whatever it is, you need to learn how to adjust your tune, maybe adjust some of your shooting approach. Talking to people like Bill at these competitions, we're all somewhat an open book. I'm probably a little bit more open about things than maybe some of the other competitors because I love sharing and learning. I really hope I see all you guys at the Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge because being able to talk about these topics, it is, other than the competition itself, which is world class, just being around the community of other competitive airgunners and sharing and learning from each other. That's what I love most about this sport. So there is, everybody, the Saber Tactical Chassis. Stay tuned because there's going to be more things coming with this. Take care.